Stop what you're doing. The fact that you got this message at this particular time is not an accident. It is a divine appointment. The cosmos is going to serve a televised execution of karma, and you've been assigned a front row seat for a purpose. What you are about to hear will not only validate every hunch you've ever had, but will also expose the enormity of the cosmic struggle that has been happening all around you. A group of individuals, a family, are now stuck in a room. Their faces pallid with horror so intense that it has robbed them of oxygen. The sole topic of their feverish, hushed chat is you. Not because they love you, or because they miss your light, but because the divine repercussions of betraying you have started to rain down on them like a tsunami of cosmic anger, and they are drowning. The storm of consequences. What is happening in their lives is developing into a disaster much worse than you could ever imagine. The reality of their imminent jail terms is so disturbing that it will alter your perception of justice. At this very now, the person whose treachery most profoundly affected you is seated at a table, surrounded by their mother, brothers, cousins, and whole tribe of conspirators. They are all passionately imploring with this person, their voices shaking, to just pick up the phone and expose every vile detail of their betrayal against you. They feel that a confession will rescue them, which is a stupid and misguided belief. But here is when the narrative delves into the otherworldly. Even if that person's quivering fingers managed to contact your number right now, even if they sobbed and revealed they were paid handsomely to deliberately demolish your life, it would be completely pointless. It would not stop the universe's already unleashed deluge of divine wrath. A confession cannot overturn what has been declared by the cosmic courts. You are about to uncover the astonishing extent of their treachery. When you eventually discover about the inheritance, the generational fortune they intended to take by fabricating your identity, actually attempting to become you on paper, you will understand why their whole family is now facing utter and irrevocable destruction. Their hands tremble violently as they browse through their contacts, their finger resting on your name. However, a chilling force, a deep internal knowledge, always stops them. It is the stark knowledge that it is deeply, irreversibly too late. A human confession is absurdly tiny when compared to the spiritual powers that have now been completely unleashed against them. They have chosen to battle not with you, but with the very architect of creation, legal and cosmic entrapment. While they are locked in a condition of self-inflicted misery, the wheels of earthly justice are turning with frightening and quiet precision. The judicial system, directed by an invisible hand, is painstakingly building a case so strong, so undeniable, that they have no idea how deeply they are already ensnared. The evidence is a mountain. The paper trail they left is not a trail of breadcrumbs, but a well-lit freeway that leads straight to their door. And when those cold, steel shackles finally snap shut around their wrists, a sound that will reverberate in their dreams for forever, every single person who took part in this heinous scheme will have a terrifying realization. They will discover that they did more than just pick a quarrel with a mortal. They waged war on heaven itself. And here is the truth that will make your blood boil and your soul howl with righteous fury. They did not suddenly go from your life. Their departure was a deliberate, paid transaction. Someone, a dark person obsessed with jealousy for your brightness, promised them a sizable portion of what was properly yours, your inheritance, your legacy. And for that price, they sold their souls and abandoned you. They plotted in hidden chambers, their hearts full of venom, thinking that by disappearing and leaving you in complete solitude, they could break your spirit for good. They felt that by isolating you from all human contact, they might shatter you. They sat in halls filled with individuals envious of your success, perseverance, and divine favor. This gang of vipers decided to take blood money in return for leaving you when you were at your most vulnerable. What these morons didn't realize was that the paperwork they were signing were not financial deals. They were their own spiritual death warrants. The paper trail they so arrogantly left behind, the fake paperwork, the illicit wire transfers, the bogus applications, is so obvious, so comically inept, that seasoned detectives are likely shaking their heads in disgust at their irresponsibility. Soon, Every falsified document carrying your name will emerge, bursting into the public domain in a manner that will send shockwaves of horror through everyone who mistakenly thought they had gotten away with it. The culture of jealousy. But as shocking as the cash heist is, it pales in contrast to the most sinister facts still to be exposed. Prepare yourself. You're going to discover the cult-like group that planned your whole demise. This was not the work of a few hungry relatives. It was a concerted assault by a vast network of people, a jealously syndicate, who are all interrelated and are now on the verge of being revealed for the vile beasts they actually are. There is a vast network of individuals who just cannot bear the sight of you succeeding. Their own mediocrity was a continual source of frustration, and your light acted as a stinging mirror. They observed you from a distance, their hearts curdling with jealousy and anger. Every win you celebrated, every milestone you achieved, was a new wound in their pride. So they combined their dark resources, money, and power, and planned with painstaking, diabolical precision to destroy every significant connection in your life. They deliberately and surgically targeted everyone you cared about, including your friends, love partners, and other family members. They approached each one like serpents, whispering seductive offers into their ears. Money, professional chances, or, if that failed, subtle threats to their own safety. And here's the most evil, twisted aspect of their plan. They gaslit every single recruit. They informed each individual they approached that you were the issue. They described you as poisonous, unstable, and manipulating. They taught them that abandoning you was not an act of betrayal, but rather an act of mercy, that leaving you was, in some strange manner, for your own benefit. The deception was so complex, so profoundly psychological, that some of those who betrayed you really felt they were assisting you by inserting a dagger into your back. The power of sacred isolation. If this message resonates deeply inside your spirit, if you feel the truth of these words vibrating in your bones, then subscribe to our channel, God Connection. You are not alone on this road. By connecting with us, you are joining a worldwide community of awakened individuals who understand the spiritual struggle you have faced. You are part of a heavenly army of light, and our combined might is greater. The most terrible aspect of their whole plan was the effort to make you feel entirely alone. They completed the math. They calculated with cold precision how many individuals needed to be eliminated from your life to crush your spirit, and they paid for each and every one of them. That loving partner who has suddenly become cold and distant, they were bribed to vanish. That lifetime buddy who created turmoil and then disappeared from your life, they were paid off, and their devotion was exchanged for a pittance. Even some family members who had become hostile and separated for no apparent reason did so in exchange for contaminated money. Their whole strategy was based on a single, faulty assumption that a chosen one without human assistance would be weak and defenseless. But in their hubris, they made the worst spiritual mistake possible. Because by isolating you, they unintentionally pushed you to depend only on heavenly protection. And heavenly protection does more than merely guard. It destroys everything that tries to undermine what is holy to the Most High. They isolated you from the rest of the world and locked you in a room with God. They believed they were giving you a death sentence, but instead they gave you direct access to boundless power. Right now, every single individual who participated in this diabolical conspiracy is suffering from a spiritual bondage so terrible, so stifling, that their lives are disintegrating at an incredible rate. Their finances are collapsing to dust. Their relationships are breaking under the weight of their falsehoods. Their physical health is gradually failing due to the spiritual poison they consumed. And, in their fear, they understand that the money was never worth the tragic cost. The unraveling of a criminal enterprise. While you were dealing with the severe emotional anguish of desertion, these crooks were not sitting idle. They were furiously exploiting your personal information, committing fraud on such a large scale that it was certain to draw the notice of the highest levels of law enforcement, including federal agencies such as the FBI. They used your good reputation to obtain credit cards, apply for large loans, and even attempted to claim inheritance money that belonged to you and your relatives. However, the digital and paper trail they left behind is about to be exposed by the bright light of truth, sending shockwaves of dread through every co-conspirator who thought they were invincible. But what is actually stunning is that the major inside source, the individual who provided the fraud ring with all of the information they need, was the one person you were meant to trust above all others. Your closest ally, the one whose treachery struck the hardest. They were the foundation of the whole business. They gave the thieves everything: copies of your personal papers, social security numbers, private financial information, passwords, and secrets, all given over without inquiry by someone you trusted. Experts in digital forensics have already uncovered their web of deception. They have tracked the transactions, emails, and encrypted texts all the way back to their origins. As arrest warrants are produced and signed, it becomes more evident that a large, linked criminal network is going to be uncovered and destroyed. Some of these conspirators face decades behind prison. But let me be clear, jail will be a safe haven compared to the cosmic punishment that awaits them. The first domino falls. Something occurred lately that sent a shock of pure, unadulterated horror through the whole group. A sign so apparent it couldn't be missed. Someone closely engaged in the plot against you, one of the primary architects of your demise, has died. Suddenly, abruptly, and without a rational reason. Their untimely and quick death was not a coincidence. It was a heavenly message. It was a warning shot from the sky, and everyone involved in the operation knew exactly what it meant. They had been marked by the cosmos. Their time is up. You see, selected ones are not only shielded by peaceful, lovely guardian angels. No, when the stakes are this high, and the treachery is so terrible, heaven's war angels are dispatched. And war angels do not provide soft warnings or second chances. When someone willfully crosses a clear line with one of heaven's favorites, the repercussions are quick, harsh, and, in many cases, fatal. That unexpected death was a cosmic statement, declaring that the grace period had ended. The surviving conspirators are now seized by a devouring terror. They detect an unmistakable trend. Every part of their life started to rot and deteriorate from the time they first conspired against you. With this death, they know for certain that the universe means business. Some people are now suffering from debilitating panic attacks. Others are unable to sleep, plagued by their actions. Many people are experiencing spiritual disturbances that are so powerful and terrible that they are losing their minds. The Most High doesn't just appoint normal guardians to his chosen ones. He sends in his cosmic special forces, the universe's greatest soldiers. These are not kind spirits who whisper encouraging words. These are the universe's Navy SEALs, and their solitary, heavenly goal is to completely and ruthlessly eliminate everyone or everything that tries to undermine their chosen cause. Every curse they flung at you has been returned to them, compounded 1,000 times over with miraculous interest. Every lie, act of treachery, and slanderous assault is reverberating back, and the karmic due is being collected with an overwhelming and ruthless power. Every falsehood they said about you has now become their reality. The traps they laid with the joyous aim of killing you have now ensnared them, their families, and their futures. Your divine vindication is imminent. The spiritual combat that is now raging around your life is so intense that even those who are not psychically sensitive can sense the massive energy shift that is working in your favor. However, these spiritual fighters aren't simply standing guard. They're on the offense. They are aggressively seeking out everyone who was involved in your treachery and wrecking their life piece by piece. Careers are crumbling. Relationships are fracturing. Mysterious health concerns emerge out of nowhere. A wave of financial disaster is sweeping through their veins like a spiritual infection. While these heavenly enforcers administer divine justice, the earthly legal system is developing watertight cases that will result in several high-profile arrests. The evidence against this conspiracy network is so damning and overwhelming that prosecutors are likely salivating at the prospect of taking on such a straightforward case. Bank data reveal unusual transactions. Digital communications plainly outline their plan to bring you down. Forged papers containing your details. Even surveillance cameras recorded their covert rendezvous. The evidence is so overwhelming that many of the accused will plead guilty right away in order to escape the humiliation of having their horrible acts read out in public court. However, even these terrible legal punishments pale in comparison to the cosmic judgment that has already been given down. They will not only lose their freedom, but also all they have ever treasured. Every ounce of position, every dollar of riches, and every shred of reputation they believed made them untouchable will be taken away. Remember how they attempted to gaslight you? How did they persuade you and others that you were unstable, paranoid, or insane? How they arranged a violent, behind-the-scenes character assassination attempt to undermine your reputation before you could reveal the truth. Every person who participated in that effort, every person who attempted to make you question your own sanity, is going to face a public humiliation so severe and comprehensive that people in your town will speak about it for decades. When the holy light of truth reveals falsehoods, they do not just vanish. They explode like volcanoes, destroying the illusions of those dumb enough to believe them. Those former pals who decided to oppose you will be physically nauseated when they discover they were nothing more than puppets in another person's fight against a child of God. And let there be no doubt, this is not conjecture. Multiple individuals of this scheme will undoubtedly go to jail. Nor possibly. The punishment is really a formality, since the cosmic judgment has already been rendered. And when a chosen one is the sufferer, worldly justice always, finally, conforms to divine decision. Who disclosed your personal information to the scam ring? Prison. Who led the desertion campaign? Prison. Who controlled the illicit money that was used to pay off your friends? Prison. Some of these sentences will be so long that whole families will be devastated, with children growing up and seeing their parents behind bars, demonstrating the repercussions of their acts. A message from the divine realm and your call to action. In the midst of this holy tempest, we at God Connection want to be a beacon of light and truth. Our job, spreading messages of hope, vindication, and spiritual development, is a holy vocation. If you feel compelled to support our work and help us reach more people who need to hear this truth, please consider making a $10 gift via the Super Thanks button located below this video. Your support, regardless of amount, allows us to continue this wonderful work. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and enable all alerts so you never miss a message intended for you. This is when the tale gets even crazier. Some may ultimately attempt to contact you from their jail cells. They will send frantic, rambling emails asking you for forgiveness and pleading with you to act on their behalf, thinking you would grant them some kind of redemption. They will pour forth apologies, outlining how they were duped, how weak they were, and how they have suddenly realized that you were innocent all along. But you must realize one critical point. When someone goes against a chosen one, the penalties do not end with them. They spread like a shockwave, affecting everyone related to them by blood, marriage, or intimate acquaintance. Right now, whole family trees are collapsing as a series of simultaneous tragedies hit, calamities that transcend logic and understanding. The children of these conspirators are suddenly failing school and exhibiting behavioral difficulties. Their wives are experiencing unusual and unexplained health issues. Their own parents' retirement funds have been wiped away in strange market disasters. Their siblings are each dealing with their own legal issues. The curse, which was unleashed when they acted against you, is now spreading like a spiritual cancer across their family. The most horrifying aspect for them is that they can see it. The trend is brutally, frighteningly evident. Every tragedy, every sorrow, can be traced back to the exact time when someone in their family decided to betray them. And deep inside, they realize this isn't a run of poor luck. This is a heavenly judgment, and they are vividly, frighteningly aware that there is nothing they can do to prevent it. You're a cosmic judge. You must comprehend something deep about your identity as a selected person. You are not only a passive receiver of heavenly protection, you are an active agent of cosmic justice. Your very presence in people's life acts as a divine test of their character. The way people treat you affects their destiny. The individual who deceived you was not just causing you personal agony. They were failing a heavenly assessment with everlasting repercussions. When offered the obvious alternative of standing with justice, they chose wickedness. When given the chance to defend innocence, they picked greed. When given a holy opportunity to express love, they chose treachery. The judgment was delivered in the cosmic court as soon as they reached their decision. And what is happening to them today is not vengeance. It is just the systematic and impartial execution of a heavenly punishment declared the moment they decided to act against heaven's chosen. They will eventually tell you everything. They will admit that they were bribed to forsake you. They'll acknowledge they knew about the rampant scam. They will divulge the identities of every individual participating in the scheme. They will plead for your pardon, frequently in torrents of tears, hoping for some type of redemption. And when that day arrives, you will have an overpowering feeling of vindication and affirmation. You'll finally feel understood. Everyone will recognize that you were never insane or the issue. You were just the truth teller in a room full of liars. But here's something you must know. Their confession will not rescue them from what's coming. This was never intended to force a person to admit guilt. This was and has always been about divine justice. Furthermore, divine justice is total and final without the involvement of humans. The disclosure of this plot will not be a quiet, covert event. It will be loud, public, and difficult to ignore. The story will be covered by many news sources. The lurid revelations will go viral on social media. Everyone who needs to know what these individuals did to you will get the facts in the most public and humiliating manner possible. Imagine their complete humiliation when the world learns they sought to end an innocent person's life for money. Imagine the disgrace when their children's peers learn that their parents are convicted felons. Imagine their colleagues' amazement when they discover they worked with traitors who sold out those closest to them. The public exposure will be so comprehensive and catastrophic that some may have to physically relocate to new cities, if not nations, in order to escape the stifling cloud of public humiliation. Your legendary rise. While they are busy navigating the debris of the lives they have wrecked, you will see a vindication so full, public, and miraculous that it will become legendary in your town. Everyone who has ever questioned you will come forward with their heads bent to apologize. Those who accepted the falsehoods will bear the heavy consequences of their bad judgment. Those who abandoned you will want to reintegrate into your life, but you will not accept their false apologies or weak efforts at reconciliation, because you'll be too busy embarking on the most magnificent, bountiful, and astonishing chapter of your life. The benefits that are now coming your way will be so great, so evident, and so astounding that even the most staunch doubters will have to accept that you are divinely blessed. Your indisputable triumph will serve as live evidence that the cosmos zealously defends its chosen ones. Your tremendous delight will serve as proof that divine justice exists and is functioning in the world. And your eventual victory will serve as a final monument to what occurs when heaven chooses to fight for you. They never comprehended that their whole scheme to isolate you was never intended to ruin you. It was, in truth, the universe's grand plan to prepare you for the glory that was always yours. When these individuals gathered together to remove every ounce of human support from your life, believing it would leave you broken and shattered, they actually forced you to tap into the boundless, raw, untamed power reserved just for those selected by the divine. During that agonizing period of desertion, you did not become weak. You developed a new degree of inner strength, a diamond-like tenacity that most people on the earth will never experience. Instead of growing increasingly exposed, you discovered yourself encircled by an unbreakable barrier of spiritual protection. The power you thought you'd lost was just being transmuted and altered, exposing secret skills and supernatural powers you didn't even know you had. The solitude they feared would be your downfall turned out to be your metamorphosis. It transformed you into someone completely, terrifyingly unstoppable. Someone who stands tall not because of the army of people around them, but because of the unbreakable, divine energy that is inside them, the haunted and blessed. Now you can see everything with exquisite clarity. You never required their approval, acclaim, or allegiance to fulfill your destiny. When you are selected by the Most High, human relationships may undoubtedly enhance your path, but they are never necessary for you to achieve your holy vocation. Your advancement has always, and will always, be dependent on a greater power, not the changeable, fleeting judgments of individuals who are easily persuaded by jealousy, greed, or deception. Your time in isolation became a treasured training ground. It honed your insight to a razor's edge, awakened new spiritual talents, and strengthened your bond with the divine to an unbreakable degree. Here's the most terrifying fact of all. While you were being changed, forged in the holy fire of this cosmic process, those who betrayed you chose to enter a spiritual darkness from which they can no longer escape. They are no longer dealing with regular, earthy repercussions. They are now being gradually eaten by something considerably more evil. When someone intentionally goes against a chosen one, they lose more than just supernatural protection. They also become open, undefended targets for wicked spiritual powers that are much more terrifying than anything they could have imagined. Right now, the exact people who previously grinned at you while planning your demise are tormented by demonic attachments that feed on their remorse, horror, and ever-increasing feeling of complete desperation. Even their own families can feel it now, the unmistakable weight in the air when they enter into a room, the way the atmosphere immediately chills, the way shadows appear to linger and dance in their presence. Their personalities are shifting. Their eyes seem blank and hollow, and those who formerly felt connected to them are now extremely disturbed and disgusted by their energy. But it doesn't stop there. These demonic powers aren't satisfied with torturing only the principal betrayers. They are spreading like a spiritual epidemic across the conspiracy network. Every single person who contributed to your agony is now subjected to levels of supernatural tyranny that have transformed their existence into a waking nightmare. And it will only get worse day by day until someone eventually breaks down and admits the whole truth. While you walk in extraordinary divine favor, experiencing open doors, fresh benefits, and amazing chances, those who worked against you are enslaved by a spiritual bondage so strong that they can hardly function. It's as if they've been surgically separated from the wellspring of life itself. Every possibility they chase turns to ash before it can be realized. Doors crash shut on them for no apparent reason. Their money have been unexpectedly and strangely halted. Business transactions that were expected to be completed abruptly unraveled. Their personal ties are wilting and dying for causes beyond rationality. No matter what they do, the cosmos refuses them. They are spiritually and financially imprisoned, and the single key that may bring them release is now hidden deep inside the vault of divine justice, completely out of reach of any human hand. What tortures them the most, what seems like acid being poured on their souls, is having to watch your meteoric climb while they fall into the abyss. Each time you level up, earn a new blessing, or are publicly praised, it serves as a sharp reminder of what they gave up when they decided to oppose you. Their rage is only fueled by your evident and glowing favor, the theft of your sacred essence. What they really wanted from you was never simply money, connections, or influence. They want access to your innermost soul. They were looking for the ancient knowledge, powerful spiritual abilities, and divinely directed downloads that have been handed down through your family for centuries. These are holy qualities that make you a direct and strong danger to those who get their power from keeping others spiritually sleepy, uneducated, and weak. Their ultimate, secret objective in plotting against you was to separate you from your spiritual heritage. They wanted you to question your strong instincts. They wanted you to reconsider your prophetic dreams. They urged you to ignore your spiritual visions as just illusion or delusion. They attempted to bury your holy abilities in a cloud of misunderstanding, thinking you would eventually reject the very calling that makes you so strong and dangerous to the forces of evil. But, in their ignorance, their effort to sever you from your source only increased your consciousness. It awoke your genuine identity and opened up a level of heavenly connection that can never be threatened or damaged again. They badly wanted you to be cut off from your source because they recognized a key cosmic law. A fully awakened chosen one, walking fearlessly in their spiritual gifts, is the most powerful and unstoppable force in the universe. Every method they used to stymie your spiritual progress, every deception or assault intended to dull your intuition or dim your inner light, ended up acting as fuel, supercharging your connection to the divine. They failed to see that every test to your faith increased your spiritual muscles. Each effort to muffle your voice made you speak with more force and passion. Every attempt to dampen your luminosity simply made your light shine so brilliantly that it could no longer be concealed, even by the darkest and most powerful forces. Your spiritual abilities have now grown to exceptional, even scary proportions, working at such a high intensity that people who dwell in darkness are scared of what you have become. The rise of the ancestral army. What these individuals failed to comprehend when they planned against you was that selected ones do not go alone. You don't fight your fights in solitude. You are not just protected by your own inner power or celestial energies. You are ferociously safeguarded by whole lineages of great ancestors who continue to watch over your bloodline from beyond the veil. When they betrayed you, they did more than simply insult the cosmos. They awoke a latent spiritual army that had been waiting for eons, watching and prepared to protect their chosen descendant at any cost. Your great-grandparents and ancient ancestors, warriors, healers, mystics, and visionaries who passed over decades, if not centuries ago, are now fully mobilized. They are in perfect unison, traveling across the spirit world with a single, cohesive goal: to protect you, fight for you, and destroy the lives of those who have hurt you. These ancient spirits, with skills far beyond our earthly knowledge, are now working together to dismantle the defenses and unravel the lives of anybody who ventured to hurt their beloved chosen one. Your enemies are now enduring bizarre spiritual persecution from family members they had never idea existed. These strong ancestors are coming in their dreams, moving items in their houses, and leaving cryptic, terrifying messages for them to discover. Doors are banging shut without justification. The lights are flickering without reason. A disturbing, weighty presence now follows them wherever they go. And for many of them, these unsettling intrusions are only the start. When a whole ancestral lineage comes up in righteous rage to defend heaven's chosen, no power on earth can shield those who cross the boundary. But it goes deeper. And here is the reality that may make your stomach churn. They weren't only wanting your money, reputation, or connections. They were deliberately and parasitically draining your spiritual vitality. They were draining your vital power to feed their own meaningless goals. Every time you loved that betrayer unreservedly, every time you gave up your own serenity to concern about their well-being, and every prayer you said on their behalf, they were siphoning that holy energy for their own nefarious goals. They utilized your compassion and divine giving as a source of power, attempting to materialize benefits in their own life while draining, depleting, and making you question your own value. This is why you constantly felt drained and fatigued after being around some folks. This is why you gave and gave and gave, yet seldom obtained true or permanent results in exchange. These people were behaving like spiritual vampires, sucking your light and using it to fill the vast, empty holes in their own souls, all the while secretly and happily planning your total and utter destruction. But what these spiritual parasites failed to realize is that taking precious energy from a chosen one comes at a cost that no one can afford. The power they drew from you was like radioactive energy. It may have seemed advantageous to them for a while, but it eventually became deadly, poisoning them from the inside out. Now, the stolen energy, your precious light, is turning against them. It is ruining their lives in ways that no doctor, scientist, or reasonable explanation can ever repair. Supernatural chaos and the final prayer. Strange, almost supernatural occurrences are now occurring for every single individual who took part in your betrayal. Events that cannot be explained by chance or poor luck. These are unmistakable evidence of divine wrath. so distressing that some of the conspirators are now too scared to sleep in the dark, putting lights on all night to fend off the mounting feeling of dread and the horrors that lurk in the shadows. Their technological equipment fail whenever they attempt to remove proof of their misdeeds. Their autos break down every time they attempt to depart. Their phones inexplicably lose power just as they try to organize their alibis. Their dreams have transformed into vivid, horrific battlegrounds, plagued by warnings from the spirit world. Their world has become a never-ending tempest of supernatural chaos, the immediate and inescapable effect of attempting to harvest or destroy the light of a chosen one. They wake up in the middle of the night, screaming, gasping for air, and in tears, plagued by disembodied voices crying out their names when no one else is around. Shadows flicker and move just outside their direct line of sight, disappearing as soon as they attempt to approach them. The spiritual tyranny they are experiencing is significantly more than just worry or guilt. It is a constant, crushing weight that pushes down on them every waking moment, and it becomes worse with each passing day. Some of them have become desperate. They are looking for psychics and energy healers, as well as sitting in seats at churches they had never visited before. Some people are even resorting to exorcisms, believing that something dark, old, and vengeful is following their every step. However, there is no priest, healer, or psychic in this realm who can protect them. They have intentionally entered a metaphysical realm where no earthly solution exists and cosmic punishment is the only power at work. And now, your own prophetic talents, which originally warned you to the danger, are being triggered with more strength and clarity. You are shown, in astonishingly clear visions, the entire and utter unraveling of your adversaries. You are getting glimpses of your future wins, the riches that awaits you, and new possibilities and relationships that will fully represent your genuine value. Every discovery confirms that you were never alone or defenseless. You were always one step ahead, protected by an unseen and unstoppable power. From this moment on, everyone who encounters you will notice something special about you, an aura of protection, grace, and divine power that distinguishes you. They will undoubtedly recognize you as someone extraordinary. Someone was watching over. Someone was picked. Dear Father, I pray for the deepening of my faith. Help me to believe in you even when empirical proof is lacking. Let me trust in your eternal presence, knowing that you will never hurt me. I recognize that your thoughts for me are ones of prosperity rather than harm, with the goal of providing me with a bright future and a predictable end. Thank you, kind and everlasting Father, for always hearing my voice. I give my prayer to you in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your unconditional love and divine provision. I am forever thankful for your presence in my life and the richness you provide. If this video from God Connection spoke to you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who need to hear this important message. Leave a comment below about your personal experience and how you're getting ready for your victorious return to the light. If you feel compelled to contribute to our work, please do so using the Super Thanks button. No present is too tiny. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity allows us to promote God's message and provide hope to others. Do not stop here. Watch our next video for amazing insights into the indications that indicate you are a chosen one. We've been privileged to accompany you on this spiritual trip. Thank you for sticking with us to the end. Continue to shine your wonderful light and face your divine destiny with confidence. See you next time. God Connection sends blessings to all lovely people.